Hey guys, Martin here with a very rare channel update. For those of you who haven't been watching the GX videos, I have a newfangled, it's old technology. It's a lapel mic. I have this now, and I've been trying to use it to limited success. I was hoping to avoid any audio issues or visual issues that were caused by using a studio mic in a bunch of those green screen videos, but the lapel mic doesn't exactly have perfect results, but so far they've been not awful. But anyway, that's mostly just to explain why I have this lapel thing on my shirt and why you're probably hearing the obvious discrepancy in the audio. But that's not what this channel update is about. I'm not here to tell you about my changes in audio technology. I'm here to talk about the channel in general. For those of you who don't know, I just started up a series of videos where I review every single episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the dub of it. And I've really been enjoying making those videos. I actually really want them to be a weekly thing if I can manage it. I'm struggling a little bit, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. Mostly I just wanted to tell you guys that those videos are being made and they're a recent addition to the channel because I'm really excited about doing them and I'm proud of them and I'm having a great time doing them. So please check those out if you haven't yet. But the meat of this video is going to be what I'm about to address, which is the fact that I kind of dropped the ball a little bit, maybe more than a little bit. I've been able to, I want to say for the last 3 years now, release Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged episodes on a consistent basis. I feel like I've been releasing videos in general that people want on a relatively consistent basis, and I hope that you've noticed that because ultimately you've been a big contributor to that. I'm talking about you watching this video right now because without you guys and your patience, I wouldn't be still doing this. I wouldn't be still enjoying this. So thank you for that. So I've been able to maintain the schedule that I've been keeping with Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which is one episode every 2 months for the last, I want to say 3 years at least. And a lot of that has been in part due to the Patreon that we have, which is patreon.com/littlecaribo. And if you want to pledge to that, that would be a huge help for us. But a lot of it has been the patience of you guys and the people that I work with and the talent of the people that I work with. I want to obviously give a huge shout out to all of the editors that I've worked with over the last few years. Masako X, Ezekiru, One Kids, Inagata Davida, multiple people. I really hope that Stefan Crow, I don't know how you say his name. I don't know how you say his online name, but Stefan, you're a fantastic editor as well. You're obviously a big part of that. But for those of you who aren't new to me and my content and the way I produce it, I'm not super good at following schedules all the time. No, it's not even that I'm not good at following schedules, which I am not, but the problem is I tend to take on too much at once, and I've tried to avoid that. I've tried very hard to avoid that. There was a time when I was trying to produce like weekly, heavily scripted videos, as well as like Fanfiction Friday videos and We're Still Here's and Let's Plays, and it definitely was not something I could maintain. And I've tried very hard to pull back on the amount of content that I'm working on at any given time, not just pull back on the content itself, but pull back on my direct involvement with it, which is why I've ended up hiring editors and other things. What I'm basically trying to say is when I try and take on too many things, it gets away from me, I guess. But even when I'm taking on more than I can handle, I try more than anything to prioritize Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged because I know that's what you guys are here for. And whenever any project has conflicted with that, whenever a project has noticeably taken time away from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and make it difficult to release it when I want it to be released and release it consistently for you guys, I've tried to keep that in mind and, pull back on the projects that are taking away from the main project that a lot of you are here for. Unfortunately, the way that I've handled my schedule in the last month to 2 months has taken its toll, and well, let me explain what happened exactly. I tried making a Mark Remark for the Royal Rumble. I was very dedicated to that project when the Royal Rumble happened. I wanted to produce a Royal Rumble Mark Remark because I know a lot of people really love when I do the Royal Rumble Mark Remark. I'm saying Royal Rumble Mark Remark a lot, but I know that's something that people really enjoy, and it's one of the videos that really put the Mark Remark on the scene was the original Royal Rumble pay-per-view review that I did. And I really wanted to get one done this year, and I told people I'm going to get one done come hell or high water. And unfortunately, then I had the genesis of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reviews, which I thought I was handling without any trouble because I was getting them done pretty quickly and there was no scripting involved. And as a result, I took my eye off the ball and I allowed the Mark Remark for the Royal Rumble to fall to the wayside. And then when I realized that was happening, I panicked. I had one of these stupid reactions that I have where I'm like, well, I'm not getting that done. That means like I'm not going to be able to get anything done. And I ended up stretching myself too thin. I ended up prioritizing things in a weird way. And not only that, I kind of had a bad period of time where I was kind of questioning a lot of things about myself, creatively, emotionally. It was a bad time. It's past, but it happened, and it affected my workflow. It affected my work ethic, and ultimately, because of just taking on too much at once and other things, I've just not been able to produce the content that I wanted to, namely the Mark Remark for the Royal Rumble. Obviously, WrestleMania is this week, so if you were going to see a Royal Rumble Mark Remark, I imagine you figured out that it wasn't coming at this point, and I apologize profusely for that. I'm very disappointed that I was unable to do that. Nobody wanted that more than me. Just couldn't do it, unfortunately. Aside from that, not only that, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reviews obviously took a bit of a hit. I had a couple of weeks there where I was just struggling to really get that done, which is weird because it should be something that's relatively simple. It's unscripted. It's just me talking. But it was another thing that I unfortunately, it took a hit. Yeah, it took a hit. And I unfortunately have to announce that Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged will also be somewhat delayed for the first time in a while, actually, years. It's the first time I haven't met the deadline that I set myself, and it's just not going to come out this month. It was scheduled to be released on the 15th. It was going to be released 2 months after the last one, like clockwork, like all the others that have come out in the last few years. But unfortunately, it just isn't happening. It's something that just the way that the schedule has happened, the way that the schedule has sort of fallen to the wayside, my fault. It's not going to come out this month. It's going to come out next month on the 15th. And of course, I apologize for that as well. I apologize for all of this content being affected by my inability to handle it. Ultimately, I dropped the ball. I'm not going to shy away from that. I want to be completely clear. I want to be as transparent as possible, but I just sort of dropped the ball in this instance, and there's nothing I can do but bend over, pick it back up, and just try running with it again. So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged will definitely be coming out next month, ideally on the 15th. And it's something that I'm working very hard on right now. The Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reviews will be going on a hiatus for this month while I try and organize my schedule, while I try and reevaluate what I need to prioritize, how I need to prioritize it, and my technical setup also needs to be reworked if I'm going to have the results that I need for that, to make it more efficient and to make it sound and look as good as I'd like it to. So for the month of April, I'm going to be on hiatus for the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reviews, and I apologize for that. I know we just got to the tag duel. I wanted to keep going with it, but I also knew that if I didn't take a month-long hiatus, that I would struggle even more and sort of get myself more worked up, and then maybe even less videos would start coming out as a result of me just sort of beating myself up a little bit. The big announcement that I really wanted to make with this video, and not the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged being delayed and the GX reviews going on hiatus aren't big announcements in regards to the state of the channel. The big announcement, though, is that there will be no Mark Remark for the Royal Rumble, obviously, and also the Mark Remark in general will probably be something that I completely deprioritize in future, and effectively the WrestleMania Mark Remark that is going to be something that I make and release this month. I'm going to be putting at least a week or two's worth into it because I want it to be good, I want it to be special, I want it to be great, in fact. But the WrestleMania Mark Remark, for all intents and purposes, is going to be from a creative standpoint, treated like a finale. Not like the final episode. I'm sure that I will come back to wrestling videos and Mark Remark style videos in the future, but it won't be something that I do on a consistent basis by any means, because let's face it, I haven't done it on a consistent basis for at least a year now, and I hate to say that, but I was prioritizing Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and I was very proud with the work that I was doing there, and I know that a lot of you come to my channel for that content, but the Mark Remark, it's a passion project, it's something that I have a lot of fun doing, but it unfortunately sinks. It's a huge time sink. It's a huge, it's something that I struggle to work into the schedule that I'm currently working with. It's something that, while in a perfect world I would produce those, I'd be producing them weekly, I'd be talking about Raw and SmackDown, I'd be doing every single pay-per-view, but the amount of wrestling content that comes at me every single week is insurmountable for the kind of work that I'd like to do with it. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to look at the Mark Remark as something that, for the time being, I have to bookend. I have to, not the wrestling move, I have to essentially look at it as something I can't afford to put that much time into. And that's because, unfortunately, I'm unable to. It's as simple as that. I want to, but I'm unable to, and I've struggled with a lot of my content looking at it that way. I haven't been able to sort of compartmentalize things and say, well, there are things I can do and there are things I can't do. And for the sake of the channel and for my own emotional, wellness, I kind of have to say, you know what, I have to put that on, on the cooler for the time being. That has to go to the wayside. So WrestleMania, I'm going to give it the old college try. I'm going to put all my efforts into making that a very special video, because obviously wrestling is always going to be around. WWE is probably going to be around long after I'm dead. But I'd like to have a video that sort of symbolizes the time that I've had with that series, the time that I've spent engaging with you guys who have enjoyed that series as well up to this point. But more than anything, I want it to be sort of a thank you. I want it to be a love letter to everyone who's ever supported that series. I want it to be a love letter to my love of pro wrestling. And I want it to be something that we can all share and enjoy as something that isn't necessarily the final ever episode. I don't want to give you that impression that it is the end of all time. I will never talk about wrestling in that fashion ever again. But it will, for all intents and purposes, be treated as a finale when it comes to writing and producing it. So when you see that video, that will essentially be, this is the Mark Remark that says goodbye, I guess, to the show and as a concept. So yeah, those are the big bullet points that I wanted to cover more than anything. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged delayed until May the 15th. The GX reviews are on hiatus until May. And Mark Remark, WrestleMania, that will be the big grand climax, essentially, the raging climax. There are some more positive announcements to be made. For starters, I'm sitting in a much bigger space for our new studio space that we've got. Our roommate moved out and we're using their room, which is massive, as a studio space. And I'm going to show you guys some photos of the space that we're now using. It's probably hard to really gauge based on the way you've seen it and the way I've described it in the past, but the previous space that I was in was half of a room, essentially. I couldn't really move. There wasn't much place for the equipment. I was crammed into one little, like a little office, basically, that I was using both to edit and to film. Now we have a dedicated shooting space where I'm going to be able to, I'm going to have a lot more freedom to do the green screen videos and also unboxing videos. That's something I wanted to talk about. Is in future I'm going to start working on unboxing videos, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. It doesn't have to be limited to Yu-Gi-Oh!, but that'll be the predominant content within that. I'm going to be opening booster packs, boxes, just Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff in general, and I'm going to be talking about it, filming that in here. But look for that at somewhere in the future. Other positive news is that I'm also going to be streaming more in the future. I have a Twitch channel now, which is twitch.com/LittleKaribo versus VS. and I'm really excited. I'm going to be doing a lot of like Duel Links and Destiny, Legend of Duelist. Is that the PC game that I've got? And other video games as well. I want to try streaming Yakuza 6 when that comes out. But I'm going to be streaming, and I know maybe a lot of you are like, well, why do you have time to stream when you don't have time to do the Mark Remark? Streaming is a much more casual experience and is something I do outside my work hours, so it doesn't affect any of video production whatsoever, so don't worry about that. And of course we have our Patreon, which is still up, and a lot of people are supporting us through that. And obviously, the more support we get through that, the more we're able to do, not just creatively, but with our studio space, we're able to get more equipment. I want to look into getting more cameras so I can show you guys multiple angles of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Unboxing videos that I'm doing. I really want to give you guys more content rather than less, but not just more content. I want to give you guys some quality content that is the stuff that you guys are interested in checking out. Obviously, I don't like taking any of these projects away. I don't like saying that they're done and dusted, but in the case of something like the Mark Remark, it's just a case of reprioritizing what I'm doing and making sure that I'm doing things at their most efficient and stuff that I'm capable of doing without driving myself nuts. We're in a bit of a transitionary period, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. It's not going to be something that completely shuts us down for a long period of time. I'm just taking the month of April to sort of readjust and collect my bearings. And like I said, I feel like I dropped the ball and I had a really rough period where I kind of felt like I was letting everybody down, and it was really, that was debilitating. But this hiatus on the GX videos and treating the Mark Remark WrestleMania as a finale, creatively that's going to satisfy me, but more than that, it's going to make me able to work on projects that I want to focus on and deliver to you guys as best as I can, as timely as I can, without having to worry about a million different moving pieces that are constantly changing and shifting in my head, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is the current state of things. I hope this video wasn't too much of a negative for you. I know there are those of you who are really into the Mark Remark, and I don't want you guys to think of this as, you know, a bad thing. This is something that, I mean, me taking the time to turn the WrestleMania video into something as special as I want it to be is a plus, if you ask me. I'm really excited about having like a video that sort of encapsulates everything that I still love about that project. And I will still talk about wrestling in videos, and I'm not going to say the Mark Remark will never return, because I'm not cancelling it. I'm just sort of putting a pin in it for the time being until, you know, I'm able to gather my senses and my wits, and we're in a position where we can produce it regularly with the kind of quality that you have come to expect and that I have wanted to deliver. So yeah, going over those bullet points once again. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged episode 80 has been delayed till the May the 15th. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reviews are on hiatus. Mark Remark WrestleMania will essentially be a climactic episode that is encapsulating everything I love about doing that. And from then on, I'm not going to really be focusing on the Mark Remark. Also, look forward to unboxing videos. I'm going to be streaming at twitch.com/LittleKariboVersus. But also, there is our Patreon, which you can support us at, patreon.com/LittleKaribo. And if any of this has come off as bad news, then I do want to sincerely apologize, but also thank you for supporting me throughout this period. It's been a bit of a rough one for me. I hope it's not been too bad for you. I myself am looking forward to the future of this channel. I think that there's still a lot of stuff that I can offer you guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is obviously ongoing. I'm very excited about getting to the end of season 4, which means we're almost at the final season of the show. That's really exciting and crazy and something I never thought I'd be saying. But yeah, here we are. And I look forward to being able to deliver content to you in the future. And I hope that you guys are still on board with this and that I'm able to make you all as happy as I'd like to. Thanks for listening and look forward to new content in the future. Love you guys. Stay super special awesome.